The Yeomen out of Cameron are looking for their third consecutive state football championship. However, they'll take on a tough team from East Texas, Mineola High, in the final for the first time ever. It's Mineola and Cameron Yo, the 3A Division I state championship, next on Fox Sports Southwest.
Back in the early 60s, I was a running back for North Little Rock High School. I went on to co-captain the '64 national champion Arkansas Razorbacks. And now I'm the owner and president and general manager of the 5-time Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys. I'm Jerry Jones. It takes hard work, desire, and a passion to reach the championship game at any level. So I admire and respect the teams and the coaches who've earned their way to Texas high school football title games here at AT&T Stadium. There's a big future ahead for many of these young players and coaches. So congratulations and good luck. Another championship trophy will be awarded right now on Fox Sports Southwest.
The fourth and final game of state championship Thursday, day one of 3 days of state championship football telecast on Fox Sports Southwest. Live from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, the UIL and Fox Sports Southwest pleased to present the 3A Division I state football championship between the two-time champion Cameron Yo Yeomen and the first-time participants in the finals, the Mineola Yellow Jackets. Hi again, everybody. Happy to have you with us. It's on the 3A Division I and arose by any other name. Cameron Yo has won state championships in Class 2A, and with the moving up in number of all the state classifications across the state of Texas, they're now a 3A school and looking for a 3A state championship after winning 2A Division I crowns in 2012 and 2013. Can the Yeomen get there? Well, Shea Walker, it's certainly going to be interesting to see. They face a first-time finalist in the Mineola Yellow Jackets, but Yo has been so tough all season long.
Well, they really have, Craig, and you talk about it. It's an improbable start by both teams. Mineola opened the season 0-3. Cameron Yo, two-time defending state champion, opened the season 2-4. However, both teams have caught fire and are playing extremely well in the playoffs.
Well, they're doing it with outstanding talent, as you might imagine. For Cameron Yo, you have to start in the backfield with Trayon Smith.
Well, Trayon Smith is the returning offensive MVP from the title game last year, Craig. You see those 2,100 yards there? That's about the same number of yards that he had last year, so just a repeat of a fantastic season.
Well, as we mentioned about Mineola, it's the first time ever in the state championship game, and they have a youthful quarterback, Jeremiah Crawford. Only a sophomore, but no rookie.
Well, you say that, no rookie, Craig, and you're absolutely right. He is the returning newcomer of the year in his district. Not only that, he's accounted for over 2,900 yards of offense and 34 touchdowns. Just a fantastic player and only a sophomore.
So it is Mineola and Cameron Yo, the 3A Division I State Football Championship. Coming up, we'll get you ready for the kickoff of tonight's game between these two teams as they fight for the 3A Division I crown from AT&T Stadium in Arlington on Fox Sports Southwest.
I'm still not all that should be, but I'm bringing all my energies to bear on this one thing. Forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead. I strain to reach the end of the race.
Receive the prize. The prize is out there.
Let's go. Yes, sir. Let's go.
Y'all ready? Yes, sir.
Cameron Yo in the locker room with head coach Rick Rhodes. The Mineola Yellow Jackets ready to go as well. And our Aaron Hardigan out on the field with head coach Joe Drennan.
Thanks, guys. Yes, joined with Coach Drennan. It's Mineola's first state championship appearance. What sort of emotions are going into this game?
Kind of hard to describe it, isn't it? It's a great thing. It's been really good for our school, our community, the fans. It's just look around. We got more people in the stands than we got living in Mineola, so it's a great day.
Meeting a Cameron Yo team looking to go 3 straight. What's the plan of attack for them, and what's the message to the guys going in?
Our message is, you know, we're here for a reason. We're not here just because we got lucky along the way. We're a good football team, and hopefully we're going to go out here and show it today. Hopefully we're going to keep the ball out of their hands because they're an awful good football team, too, and there's a reason they're here 3 years in a row.
Well, you are as well. We're looking forward to the matchup and appreciate your time, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Aaron, thanks very much. Mineola won the toss, and they want to go right to work. They'll receive. So the Yeomen will kick off, and Eric Sanchez, the senior, will kick it. Cameron, the visitors for this one, wearing the white, and the Yellow Jackets wearing the orange. Of course, the history of that being when a Yellow Jacket is angry, becomes orange. And there's the bouncing kickoff. Chance Perkins fielding it, and that's a live ball. It comes loose, and Cameron Young has come up with a football. Chance Perkins went up the field and couldn't come up with it, and Johnny Alexander was Johnny on the spot for the Yeomen.
Well, what an opportunistic play by Cameron Young on special teams. After Mineola won the toss, the ball took a little bit of a backspin and just froze there for just a moment, and the Cameron Yeomen, Craig, come up with a huge play off the kickoff. Great starting field position.
So Reed Nickerson leads the Yeomen out on offense, the senior quarterback. And the first carry is to Trayon Smith. Inside the 15, and Smith takes it all the way down to the 11-yard line. A pickup of 6. Juan Vargas on the tackle for Mineola. So right away, the first-timers take a shot and have to turn it around. Meanwhile, Reed Nickerson, see his numbers, very impressive this season for the senior quarterback.
Well, that touchdown-interception ratio is absolutely fantastic, and you saw a 59% completion rate.
On 2nd down and 4 from the 11. And movement in the line will cost the Yeomen 5 yards. So a break there for the Yellow Jackets.
Illegal snap, number 62 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
5 yards back after James Anastasiadis unable to execute the proper snap. So it's back to the 16-yard line, and it's 2nd down and 9 for Yo. Cameron Yo will spread the field at times and then have the dangerous Trayon Smith right there in the backfield with Nickerson. The throw. And coming across the middle inside the 10 is Aaron Sims. Sims, a dangerous receiving target, takes it for 12 yards and takes it all the way down for a 1st and goal inside the 5. Here's the 4th starting lineup for the Yeomen. Cody Eichenhorst, Tomas Solomon, Jason Anastasiadis, Pablo Rodriguez, and Eric Sanchez across the front. Trayon Smith in the backfield, Jordan Wells, Aaron Sims, Sakori Smith, and Vincent Vargas, the wide receivers for Reed Nickerson on 1st and goal from the 40-yard line. Smith, and in for the touchdown. Trayon Smith, his 30th rushing touchdown of the season as Yo capitalizes on the mistake on the opening kickoff.
And you see some of the power on this run by Trayon Smith. He's going to get hit in the backfield, up high around the shoulders. Goes right through the arm tackle, weaves his way across the middle, and then just powers into the end zone for a touchdown.
For the extra point, Eric Sanchez. Out of the hold of John Washington. Yo very opportunistic, capitalizing on the mistake. The kick is good, and just like that, barely a minute into the football game, Cameron Yo strikes first. A team that you mentioned, Shea Walker, actually started 2-4, turned its season around. They've not lost since. Here's another look at the touchdown.
Yeah, nice job of blocking up front, but when you've got a power runner like Trayon Smith, and we really don't have heights and weights, if you will, Craig, for these Yeomen. If you look down there at Trayon Smith and just see the power and how compact he is, big legs, and he just ran right through the several arm tackles to get into the end zone.
So the State Farm scoring drive is very, very quick. Need only 3 plays to go 17 yards. Smith to finish the march, and Yo breaks on top. So now, Mineola kind of has to regroup, Shea, after the mistake on the opening kickoff.
Yeah, it's a great point, and really right now, for Coach Joe Drennan, he's basically telling his team, hey, listen, it's just like we kicked off to them and they marched down the field and scored on us, all right? It's one possession. It's early in this ball game. let's get it back and get back to playing Yellow Jacket football.
Here's the kickoff. This time it'll be fielded over the shoulder, fumbled, but then scooped up by Courtney Hampton. Hampton trying to shake off some tacklers and only able to reach the 15-yard line, and that's where the Yellow Jackets will get the opportunity to go on offense with their sophomore quarterback, Jeremiah Crawford. Crawford this season, see the numbers for him, 1,737 rushing yards this year, and much more rushing than passing. He's that dangerous. So Crawford with Chance Perkins, his running back, on the option. This is what Crawford does. Breaking free, and that's a first down on his first carry for 12, almost 13 yards. Jacob Smitherman, the tackle for Cameron Young.
Talk about just a simple option play, and you see why he is so dangerous. He gets the guys responsible for the pitch. As soon as he turns his back, he cuts it right back in behind it. Got great blocking from the line of scrimmage. Just like you can see, you mentioned it, Craig, he's rushed for over 1,700 yards, and that's more than he's thrown for this year. But just extremely athletic in the quarterback spot, running the ball. From the 27,
first down and 10 for Mineola. Again, Crawford. Once more, Crawford bouncing outside and all the way up to the 36 as he takes it for 9 more. And we take a look at the Ford starting lineups on defense for the Yeomen after this first down run. Again, only option and keeping it.
Well, just a really good job of reading the linebackers on that zone read. He had it in the belly of the running back. He pulls it out. Linebackers shift down to take the running back. He breaks it back across the line of scrimmage on the left side and picks up 8 yards.
Second down and 2. And now the Yellow Jackets go empty. Crawford, the double move, still calling for his receivers to move downfield and unable to connect with Chance Perkins. He had a lot of time back there. It's incomplete. Now it brings up third down and 2, taking a shot on second and 2.
But taking a shot, he also, Jeremiah Crawford, takes a shot at the end of the play, trying to keep it alive, getting his wide receivers to go downfield, and he knows that he's getting ready to get hammered, but he stays in there long enough to try to find his wide receiver downfield.
Third down and 2 now as Crawford with the play call. Hustles into the huddle. 2 big runs from Crawford already on this opening march for Mineola. And there will be a third, and he'll have the first down. Crawford up to the 38, a gain of 3, a move for the chain. So Mineola's offense, we've taken a look at it. Here's the Cameron Young. First, the Mineola offensive front with Riley Anderson, Matt Smith, Luke Bowden, Dalton DuPont, Austin Anderson, Chance Perkins we told you about, along with Michael Drennan, son of the head coach at wide receiver, along with Portland Cinch's Brent Wells and Noah Sneed. Those are the weapons at the disposal of Jeremiah Crawford, but he has been the most effective weapon so far for Mineola on this drive. After the mistake on the opening kickoff allowed Cameron Young possession, the Yeomen cashed it in 3 plays. Now it's Perkins trying to turn the corner, and he's not going to get there. In fact, he'll lose a couple. Back to the 36, John Washington strung it out well to force him out of bounds.
And Titus Lewis did a really nice job, number 22, of getting penetration, Craig, off the corner. You see the option play there, and Titus Lewis in pursuit as he pushes Chance Perkins to bubble out wide to his left and push him there for pretty much no gain.
Mineola calls the timeout. 8:59 to go first quarter. Cameron Young leading 7-0.
Only West.
7-0 Cameron Young on top of Mineola. The Yellow Jackets won a thriller in the state semifinal round as they pulled away to defeat Shallowater to win the 3A Division I state semifinals. Remember, Mineola began the season losing 3 consecutive non-district games to Elysian Fields, Winsboro, and Lone Oak. And then they turned it on after that, rolled through the rest of the regular season. And then in the playoffs, Mineola did not look back. Had powerful offense and stout defense after beating Prairie Land in bi-district, Commerce. The game that got everybody's attention was knocking off Pilot Point in the Sweet 16 and then Pottsboro in the state quarterfinal round. Two pretty much widely regarded upsets to get to the semifinals. On first down, the option keeper again for Crawford, and good first down yardage, a gain of 8 before Darryl Flores can make the tackle for Yo.
Greg, I really like the way that Jeremiah Crawford runs the ball. He knows that he's going to have contact, and he sees at the last minute, like, there's no use in juking or trying to get. He's just going to power forward. He's going to run through the tackler and try to pick up as many yards as he can. Nice job of protecting the ball along the way as well.
Second down and 2 for the Jackets. This time it's Perkins in trouble again, and then squirts out of a huge loss and will settle for no gain as Jacob Smitherman makes the tackle for that Cameron Yo defense.
Alex Sabara, the outside linebacker, closing in, and you can see getting on Chance Perkins, forces him back into the teeth of the defense. Perkins fighting for everything that he can, but still comes up a couple of yards short of the original line of scrimmage. Now it's going to be 4th and about 4.
And let's see what Mineola chooses to do here.
Now Crawford is the punter as well, and he's dropping back oh so slightly.
And then the kick is away, and he'll kick away from Aaron Sims, who will field it, then bobble it. Sims behind his own 10-yard line, now turning it upfield. And then Sims loses his balance. Otherwise, he might have broken it big. It was a 44-yard punt and a 21-yard return for Aaron Sims.
Well, Aaron Sims is a dynamic return man. Also in the open field, wide receiver. He's over 1,200 yards on the season. Had an opportunity, and then that ball, as it bounded down further, he had to give up a little bit of real estate, but he bounces it back out. Good wall set, just loses his footing right there around the 35-yard line, but still very good field position for the Yeomen.
From the 35, Nickerson ready to go back to work along with Trayon Smith and that very dependable offensive line of the Yeomen. Direct snap to Smith. Trayon Smith powering ahead for 14 yards before Cortland Cinches can bring him down.
Well, the direct snap, I think it just caught the Yellow Jacket defense off count. And he's able to run it right up the middle and pick up a first down. Just another powerful run there by Trayon Smith.
From the 49-yard line of Cameron Yo. And now Nickerson. Going to go deep. And too much on it looking for Sims. He's out there a little bit, stumbled a bit. Let's take a look at that Mineola Yellow Jacket defense, our forward starting lineup. For the Jackets, defensively, Casey Gilbreth, Trevor Keener, Grayson Tenner, and Dylan Hargrove. The down linemen, the linebackers, Juan Vargas and Michael Drennan, son of the head coach. And in the secondary, Cameron Sorensen, Dalton Harris, Aaron Stanford, Cortland Cinches, Noah Sneed.
And 7 of those defenders, Craig, are either freshmen or sophomores on the defense for the Yellow Jackets.
Nickerson on the keeper, and big running room for Reed Nickerson, looking for that final block, and he gets it. Nickerson inside the 5-yard line. Cinches, for the moment, prevented the touchdown, but he couldn't stop Reed Nickerson from rumbling 47 yards.
And Nickerson has 7 touchdowns on the season from rushing. So they got 2 yards, basically, is what he averages, Craig. An outstanding job right there of not only breaking it outside and showing good speed down the sideline, but set that block up beautifully.
From the Mineola 4, first down and goal. Back to Trayon Smith. Knocked down, but still able to get across the goal line for the touchdown.
Yeah, look like Juan Vargas got to him early. The power of Trayon Smith. Able to maintain his balance until he crossed the plane. Impressive run right there, and an impressive drive by the Yeomen. So he gets hit right around the 3.5, 4-yard line. Uses that left hand to balance. Make sure that his knees don't go down, and gets it into the end zone.
For the conversion, The kick good by Sanchez. 2 drives, albeit the first one set up by the turnover. The second one, much more effective. In for the touchdown. And it's Yo up 14-0. Right now, a special message from State Farm.
Break down the first half. It's all Yo right now, looking three-peat. Plus, we'll talk about that other 3A game and get you ready for the big one with defending champ Argyle, looking to make it 32 in a row against #1 Navasota. Now back upstairs
all
to
right, Rick,
Greg Way.
thanks very much. Here, now with a 14-0 lead, and Mineola will receive their 3rd kickoff in the first 5 minutes and 16 seconds of the ball game, including the non-fielded opening kickoff that was recovered by the Yeomen, led to a 3-play 17-yard march into the end zone. And then after Mineola picked up a couple of first downs after the punt, Yo marched 65 yards in 4 plays. Now the Yellow Jackets try to strike back. Noah Sneed, the up men on the return, across the 30-yard line out to the 31, and that's where Mineola goes to work against this Cameron Yo defense.
On that touchdown drive by Cameron Yo, Craig, Reed Nickerson on that run. And he busted around the left side and just gashed the defense for Mineola and got it down to the 2.5, 3-yard line. Just a very impressive run for a guy not averaging a lot. And you've got to take into account quarterback and sacks and all of those things. Not a very proficient runner, but man, he showed up big on that play.
Crawford, this time the Yo defense ready for him, and he's dropped for no gain. Speaking of the Yo defense, Ford starting lineup for Yo High School out of Cameron. On the defensive front, Jesse Valdez, DeAndre Adams, and Eddie Luna, the down linemen. The linebackers, Titus Lewis, Alex Ibarra, Ryan Cullen, and Darrell Flores is the bandit backer. And in that secondary, John Washington, Johnny Alexander, Jacob Smitherland, and Jalen Bryant. It's Alexander who recovered that opening kickoff. And it took a forward hop in front of Chance Perkins, and it led to the first touchdown. Now Crawford looking to throw, and too much on it, incomplete. He was trying to hook up with Cortland Cinches. 3rd and 10 coming up for the Yellow Jackets.
Getting pressure, he's having to throw on the run, and Jimmy, you've got quarterback rolling out. What do they do? Just maybe set his feet just a hair so he can get the shoulders squared up. It doesn't have to be, but you're running in full speed. A lot tougher to throw the ball on the line.
3rd down and 10 for Mineola from the 31. The Jackets in need of a first down, if for no other reason, to keep the ball out of the hands of the Yo offense. Screen set up, but a minimal gain as Chance Perkins on that lofted pass was leveled by Ryan Cullen, the senior middle linebacker.
Outstanding effort by Perkins just to go up and get that ball. It was thrown amongst a bunch of different bodies there. Perkins elevates, snags it, but to little avail as it's 4th down and 8.
4th and 8. Cullen, the weak side linebacker, on that hit, limiting that lofted screen to go for a mere 2 yards. Again, Crawford, of course, can punt out of this formation, which he'll do, and that one knuckles upfield and goes out of bounds. See, this one is going to be marked at the 41-yard line, a 26-yard punt. And Joe Drennan trying to get his guys turned around after they've given up 2 quick touchdowns and trailing 14-0. Yo High School in Cameron, Texas, down in Milam County in the Super Centex region. And yes, Drake McLean calls Cameron his birthplace. Back-to-back state titles in 2012 and 2013 for the Yeomen. Also won one in 1981. Now to work yet again on offense. This time from the 41. Big running room for Trayon Smith, and should have a first down as he crosses midfield. They may mark the knee down at the 50, so call it a 9-yard gain before Juan Vargas can wrap him up. Mineola has to find an answer defensively for Trayon Smith and Reed Nickerson in this Yo attack.
Well, that has been a challenge for most of the teams that the Yeomen have played. their road to the playoffs or to the state title game, they've kind of cruised through those games, Craig. Glen Rose, the Lions of Teague, East Chambers, Rockdale, and Edna. And he has been just a terror in all of those games.
Nickerson looking to throw. Now being chased. Does manage to get rid of it. Did a good job, did Reed Nickerson, because he was being run down by Casey Gilbreth almost got him.
Well, he did a good job of extending the play and getting outside of the pocket and ultimately dumping the ball downfield. And that was outstanding coverage by the Yellow Jackets on defense. Nobody open. Got a four-man rush coming. Covered everybody extremely well. And Gilbreth does a great job of putting that pressure on, forcing the errant throw.
Well, you can take a chance like that on 2nd down and 1, and so now it's 3rd and 1. John Washington is in the backfield. It's Washington on the carry, and Washington will have the 1st down. Down to the 45-yard line, a gain of 5, and a 1st down for Cameron Young.
John Washington, every lineman is going to slide to his right. When John Washington gets the handoff, take a look here. He's going to cut it back to the left side and pick up that 1st down. Nice job of running. Good vision there by John Washington.
1st down and 10 for the Yeomen. Nickerson. Quick toss outside to Sakuri Smith. And that picks up good yardage as he takes it all the way down to the 35 near another 1st down. In fact, it is enough. 10 yards and a 1st down.
Some very talented receivers for the Yeomen. Sakuri Smith, one of those. 56 catches, over 1,000 yards, averaging 21 yards a catch. Talked about Aaron Sims earlier. He's over 1,000 yards receiving as well. A lot of weapons here for Reed Nickerson, and as you said, Craig, it kind of makes it a little more palatable when you've got a guy like Trayon Smith in the backfield, where those linebackers have to stay home and can't drop into coverage.
Back to Trayon Smith now. This time, the Yellow Jacket defense quite ready for the task. Dylan Hargrove and Grayson Tenner on the tackle. No gain on the play. You know, Shay, you mentioned Cameron Yoe cruising through those playoffs. That surprised some folks. Yes, they had the 2-4 start, and one of those losses included Rockdale, who was state ranked throughout the course of the year, and they avenged that loss in the quarterfinals with the return engagement from their district rivals, Rockdale. On the rollout with a flag down. Nickerson wrapped up at the sideline, but a flag down anyway on the play.
There's Michael Drennan there to run Nickerson out of bounds, but it's going to be holding against Cameron Yoe. Good pressure, good penetration by the Yellow Jackets front four. Take another look, just getting good pressure and penetration.
Norman Richardson, our referee from this Houston-based chapter, discussing the options with head coach Joe Drennan.
Holding, number 74 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Yeah, you definitely want to take that one from the spot.
I think that's what Joe Drennan was trying to find out. Where will the spot be?
Yep. And then get it 10 yards beyond that.
Yep. Well, the holding was at the 35. Back to the 45 now. And it's 2nd down and 20 for the Yeomen. And Nickerson with a delayed draw to Smith. Turning the corner but forced out of bounds. Strung out well by Michael Drennan. And a late flag. The freshman linebacker and son of the head coach forcing the play out of bounds. But let's check the flag.
Right now, I'm going to say that is great hustle by Drennan. Yeah, and it looks like he's going to get the personal, or somebody's going to get a personal foul call. Officiating crew is back behind the bench. Mineola. Oh, you see it's there. It comes in late.
Yep. Trevor Keener right there as we were looking at it On the big screen, Trevor Keener is the one, number 52.
Dead ball, personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Number 52 on the defense. 15-yard penalty and automatic first down.
Right there. And you'll see the coaching staff for Mineola react immediately, understanding that the foul is going against him. That's really unfortunate for Mineola.
Well, they had a good defensive stop there. They had an opportunity now to put it 3rd and long.
Instead, it's a reset of the chains, a first down, back to the ground, and Trayon Smith. Smith, another good run, this time for 11. And you're right, Shay, instead of it being 3rd down and long, now another first down, and Yo on the march again. Yeoman taking their time now after getting the play call into the line of scrimmage. Reed Nickerson still glancing over to the sidelines. And Nickerson himself to keep it. Bounces inside the 20-yard line and up to the 16 for a gain of 3. But you notice, as I did, Shay, the deliberate pace with which Cameron Yo will operate when they break the huddle. They'll check the sidelines, make sure they have what they want, and then more often than not execute the call very well.
Juan Vargas comes up with a big stop for Mineola. It looked like there might have been a little bit of running room there for Reed Nickerson, but they're spreading out the defense right now as Cameron Yo. They've got 3 receivers to the left side of the formation and almost all the way down to the end line.
And on 2nd and 7, the pass down to the 10, and it's John Washington takes it down. Rather, Vincent Vargas on the catch. Vargas very close to the first down marker. There's a flag on the end of the play as well. It will be a first down. And then a personal foul call against Yo. So the change will be, it'll be a first down, and Rick Rhodes doesn't like the call. It's going to be a dead ball foul after the first down yardage was achieved on the line to gain, and then a 15-yard mark off.
We have a first down. Then dead ball, personal foul, number 62 on the offense. 15-yard penalty and first down.
On the center, Jason Anastasiadis.
I think Anastasiadis, Craig, he came in late, as you see there, taking a shot, and he's just trying to help the wide receiver, and he finds a standing body, knocks it down, but can't do that. You're going to draw that personal foul penalty every time.
So from the 24 on first down and 10. Pass out to Sims, and Aaron Sims, good yardage on first down. A gain of 7 down to the 17-yard line before Dalton Harris can wrap him up.
Aaron Sims is not a big guy, 5'5", 135 pounds. As we talked about earlier, 18 touchdowns on the season, very explosive in the open field, 78 catches, 1,240 yards coming into the game. Dangerous receiver in space. On first down, picks up valuable yards. Now it's 2nd and 3.
Nickerson will hand it to Smith. Trayon Smith, a first down, bounces off tacklers and into the end zone. Trayon Smith, 3 touchdowns here in the first quarter. Punishing running there from Smith on this touchdown run.
Good job on the left side of the offensive line. Getting blocks down. You see Cody Eichenhorst doing a good job, and then Trayon Smith with that power run game cruises into the end zone.
Sanchez, the conversion kick good. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns for Cameron Yo. The 2-time defending state champions off to a good start, looking to make it a 3-peat on the title. We say 2-time defending as you look at Trayon Smith's very impressive numbers. We're still in the first quarter. 65 yards on 9 carries and 3 touchdowns. Remember, the UIL changed the numeration on all the classifications. As you look at the touchdown run again by Trayon Smith, and that was to set aside six-man football only as Conference A, as 1A. So those 11-man schools that were 1A schools last year became 2A schools, and those two state champions, the new ones, were crowned this morning and this afternoon. Fremont, the 2A Division II state champion. Canadian, the 2A Division I state titles. 2A became 3A, so Cameron Yo, back-to-back 2A Division I champions, trying to make it 3A Division I state champions. And off to a good start. Feel it over the shoulder.
Oh, and he lost his footing. He's going to be down around the 6-yard line, Craig.
That's difficult for Mineola. They continue to have some struggles. 2 big struggles in the kicking game here in the first quarter now. So the Yellow Jackets backed up once more, deep in their end of the field. They're just trying to dig out from under it. I'm sure Joe Drennan has been trying to just get his team to calm down and go back to work and play football. So the Jackets from their own 6. Crawford to keep himself. A good first down pickup of 6 yards out to the 12 before Ryan Cullen made the tackle. What most likely will be the final play of this first quarter. Been a tough first quarter for Mineola from the opening kickoff to the very end of the quarter. 3 touchdown runs from Trayon Smith. Rick Rhodes Ball Club ready to go and trying to make it a three-peat for the state championship. Into the first quarter of the UIL Class 3A Division I State Football Championship. It's Cameron Young out to a 21-0 lead over Mineola. Second quarter of the 3A Division I State Championship. Cameron Young leading Mineola 21-0. Craig Way and Shay Walker with the upstairs. Down on the sidelines, Aaron Hardigan.
Craig, with the way he's playing tonight, to think Reed Nickerson was close to walking away from his senior season, and for good reason, of course, to work on his doctorate. In fact, he's a 17-year-old kid that not only knows what he wants to do in life, but he's already working toward it, taking prerequisite classes at Temple College, missing morning football periods to do so. But of course, Coach Rhodes and the staff very willing to adjust his schedule just to keep him. But that story alone goes to show just how brilliant and driven this kid is. 2 qualities that Coach Rhodes says not only make him a great quarterback, but an even better leader for this group.
Aaron, thanks very much. And it doesn't look like it's hurt Cameron Young at all here in the first half.
Listen, I'm coming at this from a player's perspective, and I just have to wonder, how bad are those morning practices that you want to go and pursue college courses?
And be a doctor?
Yes.
Ask Rick Rhodes. The Yeomen have done just fine with that arrangement. On third down, Crawford trying to bounce forward, but he's going to be short of the first down. Or will he? He had to get it. Well, he bounced forward. Looks like he got enough.
Pick on that first drive for Mineola. Jeremiah Crawford was running the ball with pretty good success, and he was kind of getting it outside on the option game, on the keeper for him. But it looks like the adjustments that have been made here by Mineola, or excuse me, by Cameron Yo on defense, have really put a bunch of bodies in front of him. So it's not necessarily guys that are making the tackle, but it's guys that are slowing him down and making him make another guy miss. So they're getting 2 and 3 bodies there at the point of attack, and for Cameron Yo, it's proven successful as they're making the sledding, if you will, for Mineola extremely difficult.
So too is the decision of what they want to do, and Mineola has to spend another timeout. After picking up a first down, the Yellow Jackets had to use a timeout to keep from having a delay of game. And again, Joe Drennan just trying to get his guys settled down a little bit. And it's been difficult. Well, we told you where Cameron, Texas is in Milan County. Mineola, one of those outstanding East Texas high school football programs. And not only do they not have a state championship, this is their first ever trip to the state finals. Country music artist Casey Musgraves from Mineola. And talking to Joe Drennan about Mineola getting there for the first time, I said, how excited is the community, given the fact that we talk about Carthage and Kilgore year in, year out basis, Gilmer tomorrow.
You bet.
And he said they've had great support not only from Mineola, but across East Texas. Pass to the right side on first down and caught by Cortland Cinches.
And we would be just a little bit remiss with Casey Musgraves being from Mineola. Just down the road and about 30 miles is Lindale, Texas, where one Miranda Lambert is from.
Absolutely. Did your folks live in Lindale?
Close.
Oh, okay.
Close enough to know that Miranda Lambert's from Lindale.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Joe Drennan told us, he said that so much of East Texas had gotten excited about the Yellow Jackets' Cinderella run to this 3A Division I state championship game. Now Mineola trying to create some excitement on the field. Here's Crawford spinning forward, having some trouble breaking free from Alex Ibarra.
Well, the pass play on first down where they picked up 8 yards makes it a little bit easier for Jeremiah Crawford on 2nd and 2.
Settles for 1 yard gain, and it's 3rd down and a yard.
You see Crawford over on the sideline talking to Joe Drennan for 3rd and 1. The play clock has not started. They're going to do a measure here.
Yeah. See if it is enough for the first down, and if it is not, then Coach Drennan will send out Crawford with a play call here on 3rd down. This measurement very, very close. But not quite enough for the first down. So 3rd down and inches coming up for the Yellow Jackets. Pull the chains a little farther there, just making sure the measurement's correct. Just a little bit shy of the first down. So 3rd down and a few inches needed for the first down. Crawford will hand it to Chance Perkins. Perkins has it up.
Ryan Cullen met Perkins just beyond the first down marker, but as you said, for Perkins, it is enough for the first down.
Enough of a surge up front, and then, well, you're right, Ryan Cullen slammed right into him, but Perkins had reached the line to gain before the collision. So from the 28, Mineola with a fresh set of downs. Crawford, pressure, and running. And picks up 7. Wanted to throw. Pressure immediately came in, and Crawford tucked it in and picked up 7 yards. Cullen and Eddie Luna, the tackle for Cameron Young.
Well, it looks pretty exciting when he makes these runs and gets out into space. Eddie Luna, as you said, right over the top. It's another sophomore on top of a sophomore, but doing a good job of making sure that Jeremiah Crawford does that, because the downfield coverage by Cameron Young was fantastic. All the receivers from Mineola were covered up.
2nd down and 3. This time, hand off to Perkins. Perkins close to another first down. In fact, may indeed have enough for it. Pins on the spot. Perkins, a sophomore. A little bit shy of the first down, and it's 3rd down.
And you see Jeremiah Crawford, Craig, he is going all the way out to pass the numbers and meeting the coaches in that last 15 yards, getting the play, coming back to the huddle to make the play call.
3rd down. The toss outside, a good running room for Perkins. And a first down. Chance Perkins, an option toss. Ryan Cullen the tackle, gain of 12. One thing we're seeing Mineola do on this drive effectively, Shea, is Crawford getting some help from some of his teammates.
Well, it is, and he got the ball out of his hands quickly into Chance Perkins. Dalton DuPont down there, the 240-pound senior, leading the charge, and got a nice clearing block there where the Yellow Jackets now pick up a first down, and they're right at the midfield stripe. Craig, right now, with the score being 21-0, you got to feel like this is a very important drive for Mineola, and not from a field goal standpoint, but you got to get a touchdown here.
From the 49. Pass almost picked off as Johnny Alexander was coming in to try to pick it off. It was intended for Cortland Cinches, and the pass a bit high. One thing that Mineola has done on this drive, Shea, is pick up good yards on first down. Not here.
Yeah, the ball just outside the reach of Cortland Cinches. And you're right, they have used the pass effectively to get down, or to get yardage on first down and move the chains where you're looking at second and short, third and short. So far they've been able to convert. Now it's 2nd and 10. Let's see what they can dial up.
And they dial up a big run. How about Crawford on the run inside the 20? Jeremiah Crawford, 38 yards on the rumble. Jacob Smitherman wrapped him up, and if Smitherman didn't get him, it would have been a touchdown.
Well, the left side of the offensive line does a fantastic job of walling off. You see Riley Anderson there, number 71, gets a block on 2 Yo defenders. Take another look up here at this top. The blocking in on the inside. They create that seam there. He just outruns Ryan Cullen there and pushes the ball all the way down. Jacob Smitherman saved a touchdown for Cameron Yoke.
Crawford nearing 100 yards rushing in the first half. Will keep it again. Down to the 10-yard line. Jesse Valdez the tackle. This drive's so important for Mineola, Shea, to give the defense a rest, and they do need to get points on this to try to begin to climb back into this game. 2nd down and 7. The ball just shy of the Cameron Yo 10-yard line as we approach the midway mark of this second quarter. You see the Mineola rushing yards adding up. It's just Yo was hit him with some big passes, and of course the turnover was big. 2nd down, and Crawford to keep again into the end zone. Jeremiah Crawford gets Mineola on the board.
He faked the inside handoff to Michael Drennan, who's coming across the face of the defense, going the left side of the line of scrimmage, left side of the offensive set. Stretches the defense out just enough. And Jeremiah Crawford sees the crease, busts straight up the field, and scores a touchdown.
Swinging gate look for the conversion, and now Mineola will shift into regular kick formation. Willie Tinajero, senior, for the extra point. A hold of Crawford. Mineola with a touchdown. Jeremiah Crawford, big part of that, and right back into this football game. Crawford, nearly 100 yards rushing, and Mineola scores. Now, can the defense get a stop? We'll find out. Farm. Visit Texas.statefarm.com to get to a better state. By DQ, the stop sign of Texas. For the best eats, treats, and drinks in Texas, stop at DQ. And by Ford. The Dream Big sales event is going on now at your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Finishing 10-yard touchdown run.
Well, Greg, and you talk about this, but it's the play calling and the mixing up of the play calling to get yards on first down with the short to intermediate passing game early on in that drive is really what got Mineola kind of in a cadence and in a rhythm. Able to go down, and that was an extremely important score for them to get back into this ball game.
Hooch kick, bobbled, dropped, and then recovered as Vincent Vargas fell on the football, and Cameron Yo will have possession of the football. There's Vargas there. A little trouble on the handle, but the smart thing went right down to his knees to cover it. Now the big question for the Mineola defense, can they get a stop? Because Cameron Yo's had the football 3 times. They've scored 3 touchdowns.
Well, and they've really done it using all of the playbook. Reed Nickerson doing a masterful job of executing the offense, throwing the ball downfield when he needs to, keeping it and running it when he needs to. And oh, by the way, that third option of Trayon Smith, not a bad one to have.
Yeah, he has all 3 Yo touchdowns. Draws the carry and the attention of the Yellow Jacket defense. Dylan Hargrove leading the charge of the Orange as they bring him down. Second down and 8 after a 2-yard carry. Nickerson now joined by John Washington in the backfield. Smith checks out. Reed Nickerson looking to throw. Going to go deep up the sideline. The man is open. That man, Sakori Smith, for a touchdown. 63 yards.
We just talked about Reed Nickerson's command of this offense for Cameron Yo. And he sees Sakori Smith, a dynamic receiver, one-on-one. He just does that little spin move, kind of out and up, or in and up, if you will. Goes right by the defender, and the pass was beautifully thrown by Nickerson because he knew he had a wide-open receiver streaking down the sideline. He finds it for the touchdown.
Cameron Yo, a quick response to the Mineola touchdown, and just like that, the Yeomen are right back up by 21 points. Sakori Smith, the sophomore, split in on the receiving end of this 63-yard touchdown pass from Reed Nickerson. How did Cameron Yo get back to the title round after starting 2-4? They finished the district play strong, beat Glen Rose in by-district. They got everybody's attention by knocking off a once-beaten Teague Lion team in the area round, avenging a district loss to their rivals, the Rockdale Tigers, in the quarterfinals. And then it was on after beating East Chambers. They knock off Edna in the semifinal round. And on to the state championship round again for Rick Rhodes and the Yeomen.
Well, and you talk about that win against Edna. Edna the week before beat Hallettsville, who is kind of hanging in that #1 spot in 3A Division I. They got knocked off, and then the win against Edna was very convincing. Beat the Cowboys 61-34.
Well, and let me say this also. First, the kickoff. And that one fielded by Hampton. Here's Courtney Hampton out of the 30. Nice return for him. A lot of folks said, well, what happened? How did Yo get it turned around? They lost 4 games. Let me also add that among those losses were to Rockdale and to Refugio, which was the #1 team in the state in Class A until they got knocked out and by Mason in the regional round. So they lost to some good opponents as well and really turned it on in district play after the loss to Rockdale.
It just gets back to it, and championship teams find a way to win. You start the season 2-4 regardless of the opponents because you're the defending state champ in your classification. You figure you can take on all comers.
Snap back and turning upfield is Crawford. Crawford again. There's a big hit on the defensive side for Cameron Yo, but Crawford kept it. It's a 23-yard carry.
Take another look. Yep. As he gets moving around, there's Jeremiah Crawford. The way that he finishes the run, he gets an outstanding block.
Chance Perkins
downfield, but oh, yep, go ahead.
Yeah, I started saying Chance Perkins took a really big hit on the play, but he's all right. Right back up there, and Crawford ready to go work again as Mineola had a touchdown drive the last time out, trying to come up with another one here again to try to climb back in it, and it's Perkins. Chance Perkins with a nice run, a gain of close to 9 yards.
And it's going to take plays like this, Craig, for this Yellow Jacket team to get back in the game, trailing by 21, and seemingly right now it's going to be a shootout right now because the defense for Mineola is having a difficult time slowing down the offensive outburst by Cameron Yo.
Second down and 2 for the Jackets. Perkins again. Great job by the Yo defense at first, and Perkins is able to squirt through and get away from the would-be tackler initially. DeAndre Adams brought it down. It turns out to be a 4-yard gain, and it's enough for the first down.
Well, I'm not quite sure how Chance Perkins was able to navigate that crowd of defenders. Take another look as he's running. He just goes low, hangs on, keeps his balance. A couple of Yo defenders go over the top of Chance Perkins, and he's got enough forward momentum to pick up the first down.
Looked like Alex Ibarra had him, but couldn't hold on to him. Mineola with another first down. Reaching the Yo 32. Crawford now with a lot of pressure and escapes. A flag goes down. Crawford downfield, and it's incomplete. Trying to connect with Brent Wells, but that might have been a face mask as Crawford got spun around. Norman Richardson and the Greater Houston area chapter of the Texas Association of Sports Officials will give us the call. It is a face mask.
Well, that's just a hustle play on defense, and that's one that Rick Rhodes can live with. Trying to get to a very athletic quarterback, and you see just you're trying to grab anything you can right there. Just get the hand across the face mask.
Number 60 on the defense. 15-yard penalty and automatic first down.
DeAndre Adams.
I like the hustle by Adams, though. After Crawford had spun away from him, he continued to pursue and chase him down and to force a throw. Good hustle right there.
15 yards on the walk-off. The ball is at the Cameron Yo 17-yard line. Mineola on the move again. Movement this time, however. And that'll cost the Yellow Jackets 5.
Ball start, number 53 on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Luke Bowden. Sophomore. So let's go back a couple of plays here, and you'll see DeAndre Adams down there and trying to give the business down there at the end of the play to Chance Perkins. DeAndre Adams was
get a little extracurricular down in the pot,
letting him know that he's in for a tough night. Meanwhile, here goes Crawford. Certainly a handful for the Yo defense. And Darrell floors the tackle. That's a pickup of 8 yards.
And just a design run all the way. We have seen him, Jeremiah Crawford, run that as an option play. As soon as he took the ball from the shotgun snap, he tucks it in the left arm and heads upfield to pick up as many yards as he can.
Second down at 7 from the 14. Crawford up to 130 yards rushing in the first half on 14 carries. And yet Mineola needs more. They need more from him. Perkins in a world of trouble, and he'll be dropped for a loss.
Deep handoff, and Eddie Luna, the sophomore defensive end for Cameron Yo. Nice through that offensive front. Gets good penetration. Take another look. Right there at the top. See number 50 coming in and disrupting that play in the backfield.
Third down and 11 from the 18. Crawford looking to run again. One move, but going to be stopped short of the first down. Staying at home, Johnny Alexander, the junior safety. Pickup of 5 yards. And it's at the 13-yard line at fourth down.
It's a very disciplined Yo defense, Craig. Even though you see Jeremiah Crawford breaking the line of scrimmage, picking up 6 and 7 yards, there's 3 Yo defenders around him once he gets to that spot. And usually he's used to seeing more green grass and more opportunity to run and move the ball out. But on fourth down now, it's going to be interesting to see what the call is.
Well, Crawford's gone to the sidelines. He's down right now, and Mineola's going to take a timeout here with 2:01 to go in the first half, and Crawford looks really exhausted here in the first half.
Well, you talk about those three defenders that were around him on that last run. He took a pretty good shot there from a couple of defenders.
Trying to collect himself right now. Want to remind you, coming up at the half, the Ford halftime show. Rick Renner, Randy Rogers, Greg Tepper, all sitting up in the crow's nest for this one. High above the action here at AT&T Stadium. I'll have a preview of that 4A Division I showdown between top-ranked and undefeated Navasota and number 2 and unbeaten and two-time defending champion Argyle, winners of 31 in a row. The defending state champion Argyle, it's that and a lot more coming up in the half. Navasota with that record-setting explosive passing attack all season long. Davian Dixon, 35 touchdown catches in 78 receptions.
It really is mind-boggling to think about any wide receiver. It's starting to approach, and I dare say just starting to approach, it's kind of like a Ken Hall stat.
There you go. And Shelton Epler, by the way, is on a record-setting pace. Already has shattered some records at quarterback. That preview coming up at the half. All right, 4th down and out of the timeout. Mineola to go for it. Here's Crawford again. Crawford, the first down and the touchdown. How about this young sophomore? Looked exhausted, looked banged up. What a prudent timeout by Joe Drennan and the Yellow Jackets to let him get his wind back, get collected, and he's into the end zone on a 4th and 6.
And you talk about the outstanding use of a timeout. When you absolutely have to have a play, you go to your playmaker, Jeremiah Crawford, goes to the arm tackle of Ryan Cullen right there, and just not enough to slow him down to keep him out of the end zone. And on 4th and 8, big play for the Yellow Jackets.
The extra point kick is no good as it pulled left, but Mineola does climb back to within 15 now. And look at Jeremiah Crawford in the first half, what he's done.
Well, he's continued to impress. You see this touchdown run again, even though he gets hit and starts to lose a little bit of balance. Still has enough forward lean and power, momentum to carry him into the end zone. 1,700 yards on the season, Craig. Sorry about that. 1,700 yards on the season and 24 touchdowns on the ground.
Came in at 1,737 and now at 1,885 rushing yards for the season. At the pace he's going, he'll top 2,000 rushing yards before this night is done.
Well,
and yet Mineola's down 15 points.
I was going to say, his team is still trailing, but he's carrying it on his shoulders right now.
Crawford knows he's done a lot, but there's a lot of work left to be done. And Cameron Yo's offense will go back to work. And again, the persistent question for the Mineola defense, can they get a stop? They've been unable to do that so far.
Well, it's been an explosive Cameron Yo offensive attack. They've done it on the ground with Trayon Smith. Reed Dickerson has also been extremely effective running the ball and throwing the football downfield as well.
On the kickoff return, shorter kickoff, Vincent Vargas on the return of 14 yards.
Pretty good starting field position. Minute 48 left. Yo's still got all their timeouts, Greg. I mean, there's plenty of time with the field position that they have and their ability to quick strike like we have seen so far in the first half.
This was the 4th of 4 games today. There will be a triple header tomorrow, starting at high noon. The 4A Division II state championship. Top-ranked Gilmer against West Orange start. In Class 4A, Argyle and Navasota. Gilmer number 2 in the overall 4A poll. Navasota number 1 in the overall 4A poll. Aaron Sims on the speed sweep. Dart around the defense, and he'll settle for a 6-yard gain. You saw that as we were telling you about those state championship games. The second game will be Navasota and Argyle in the 4A Division I matchup. And then the nightcap, the 5A Division II title, could be a great one. Innis and Cedar Park. All part of the triple-header tomorrow night. Nickerson flushed out and content to run. Nickerson enough for the first down. Out of bounds with 1:08 to go. And if you're Mineola right now, the defense is trying to get that stop here. Remember, Cameron Yo's going to get the football to start in the second half.
Well, that's a good point. And right now, it's paramount that they keep Cameron Yo off the scoreboard.
At the jacket 42. Nickerson over the middle and open. Sims inside the 20 and Sims to score. A late flag will be added on to it. And then Sims comes in for some words afterwards. After he was bumped by Cortland Cinches, it goes for 42 yards and a touchdown.
But just a nice crossing route by Aaron Sims. 18 receiving touchdowns on the season. Coming into the game, and after he shakes that tackle, tries to shut it down a little bit there. Cortland Cinches doesn't like that, and words were exchanged. Flag is thrown.
Here it is at the end of the play. There's the hit. And then Aaron Sims getting in his own 2 cents. Here's the call.
The result of the play is a touchdown. After the play, dead ball, personal foul on the offense, and dead ball, personal foul on the defense. Those 2 penalties were offset. Score.
Well, the second flag came for Sims' retaliation. Now, watch. First of all, Cinches is going to hit him. There's no doubt about it. It's a penalty. And then you're going to see Aaron Sims come up, and it's not even so much what he says. It's right about there. That's what got the second flag. The extra point kick is good, and it's 35-13. That's the biggest news of all of that.
Well, I'm going to go old school on you on all the touchdown celebrations, and it doesn't matter what level. I'm a big fan of the Barry Sanders method.
And of all of the officials?
Did he ever do anything demonstrative or crazy? No.
You'd have to do it the Barry Sanders method. You could not do it the Emmitt Smith method, which was to take the football and go lock it away in a trunk so you could sell it later. Can't have that.
No, well, certainly not at this level.
No.
But at every level, Barry Sanders method, to me, is still the best.
And Rick Rhodes talked with Aaron Sims about it, saying you got to let it go if somebody's going to come over and do something to you. Well, the big news is that Yo is now up 22 points. You see they've had 4 touchdown drives in under a minute each, and they're going to get the football to start the second half.
And we're just saying what a quick strike offense they were. And they start with good field position on the short kick and the good return. Just a couple of plays, and Aaron Sims running that crossing route, missed tackle after that, after he made the catch, and he walks into the end zone.
Jeremiah Crawford knows he has to go back to work to try to rally Mineola yet again. A kickoff. And fielded by Hampton. Hampton gets a pop near the 30-yard line with under a minute to go in the half. And another flag down.
During the return, blocking the back, number 24 on the return team. 10-yard penalty and first down.
Well, that makes Mineola's task all the more difficult here. Inside a minute to go in the half.
Well, they've been down here before, but it was about a 6.5-minute drive that it took them to get their first touchdown on the board.
They've had 2 lengthy drives for each of their touchdowns, but they don't have the luxury of clock time to have a lengthy drive with only 51 seconds, and Chance Perkins goes down. And time called with 43 seconds remaining in the half.
Timeout. Charge to Cameron Young.
Well, the first timeout called by Yo, and I think Rick Rhodes is thinking, let's see if we can get a stop. If nothing else, force a punt deep in that end of the field and give the Yeomen yet one more opportunity before this first half is done. So, as we mentioned, this is the 4th game of the day here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. It began at 10 o'clock this morning. The Fremont Tigers were facing a 21-7 deficit heading into the 4th quarter, and then it became the Rashad Paul show. The Tiger quarterback had a 35-yard touchdown run, then this 23-yard touchdown run. 21 unanswered points in the 4th quarter for the Tigers as they celebrate the state championship, beating Albany 28-21. It was followed by Canadian claiming the 2A Division I crown. Fremont won the 2A Division II state championship. Tigers winning their 2nd overall title. They won back in 1981. Canadian, which last won in 2008, adds more hardware to the trophy case as they win. And then Wascom earning its first ever state championship impressive fashion for the Wildcats in beating Newton in the 3A Division II title matchup. After the Cameron Yo timeout, trouble for Crawford, takes a big hit, goes down. Cameron Yo will call another timeout. That's a loss of 3.
Shot. That's DeAndre Adams again. He's been very physical all game. And on that play, Craig, you see it. It looks like Jeremiah Crawford somewhat content to kind of lazily run around the right side, and he dangerously got close to going into the end zone, but stays out of it. But takes a punishing blow right there at the end of that play.
Well, now, unless Mineola can pick up a first down, they will not be able to run out the clock because Cameron Yo will use its final timeout to force a punt here. Try to get it into the end zone one more time before the first half is done.
And Jeremiah Crawford is the punter, and we've seen that earlier, so depending on how he's feeling could have an effect on how well he's able to execute the punt.
It's now 3rd down and 15 back at the 6-yard line.
And you look at where the line of scrimmage initially was. Cameron Yo going backwards. Excuse me. Cameron Yo forcing Mineola to go backwards. So big 3rd down here, and just get something up in the middle of the field, get off your own goal line, and get as many yards as you can.
Crawford to throw out of the end zone, takes another pop. That's intercepted. John Washington picks it off. So Cameron Yo will have it. Now, the other way to look at it for Mineola is it almost works like a punt. But Cameron Yo has had 4 touchdowns, scored in under a minute in each of their 4 drives out of their 5 scoring marches.
Well, Brent Wells had gotten behind the defender, but John Washington did a good job of going up, high pointing the ball. That's what you want to do, catch it at the apex. He did that. It'll come up with another turnover. Now the Yeomen looking to do business, and this is why you saw Coach Rhodes using those timeouts.
Crawford frustrated there at the end of the half despite his sparkling first half. And now to the air, Nickerson going deep, almost hauled in by Sakori Smith, incomplete.
What an impressive sophomore Sakori Smith is. Take another look. The ball is thrown beautifully. He splits the 2 defenders just outside the reach there of Smith.
2nd and 10 from the Yellow Jacket, 39 and 20 seconds, and a timeout remaining for Yo. Treon Smith, this time wrapped up, breaks loose.
Kind of wrapped up, and he won't go down.
Yo will call its final timeout, and then there's some tempers flaring again.
And Jason Tenner was the man who initially hit Treon Smith in the backfield.
The final timeout called. Grayson Tenner, the sophomore lineman, you see after the wrap up of Smith, hauls him down. Still has it by the jersey.
We'll see Trayon Smith reacting to that. That's just a good defensive play there by Drayson Tenner, the sophomore. 210-pounder. And I mean, he was hanging on, and he was not going to let go of the jersey of Trayon Smith. He didn't hear the whistle. He was down on the ground, hanging on and making sure that he was not going to let go.
So it's 3rd down and 10 from the 39-yard line. 11 seconds to go in the half. Joe Drennan is trying to get his guys to hold on and get to the locker room, down 22 points here. Trayon Smith remains in the backfield.
Aaron Sims is lined up
and ready to throw it again. Nickerson. Field incomplete. 5 seconds remaining in the half. It's 4th down. We may see a Hail Mary toss coming up for the final play of the half. And a couple more words exchanged and a swipe there from Corey Smith. The teams have gotten a little chippy. I think it'd be good for both these teams just to get into the locker room here in a moment.
I agree. Both coaches need to settle them down, calm them down, and play ball. Leave all that extracurricular stuff off the field.
4th down and 11. 5 seconds to play in the half, and Nickerson going to go deep. Hanging it up downfield, and Corey Smith made the catch. Aaron Sims, rather. Sims pulls it down on the Hail Mary on the final play of the half. Sims with the score, and another Cameron Yo touchdown.
Well, just a beautifully thrown ball right between the defenders. Coverage was not bad. But Aaron Sims, all 5'5" of him, goes up, secures the ball, hangs on to it all the way to the ground for the touchdown.
Well, clearly, Rick Rhodes knew exactly what he wanted to do in using the timeouts to get the football back, to give his team one more shot. After all, Cameron Yo had 6 possessions. Cameron Yo scores 6 first-half touchdowns.
Well, Craig, and you said this a couple of times so far, is that Cameron Yo will get the ball to start the second half. It's another fine job right there of Aaron Sims, timing it right between 2 Yellow Jacket defenders. And he's able to come up with a touchdown grab. Just an outstanding athletic effort there by Aaron Sims.
What a first half for Sims, for Nickerson, for Corey Smith, for Trayon Smith, for all of Cameron Yo, and their head coach Rick Rhodes, who's down with our Aaron Hardigan.
Hey, thanks, guys. Coach, you came out swinging there. Minute into the game, and you're controlling the majority of this half. What do you attribute that to?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, I talked to our kids early in the week, and when you get into a game like this, you play to win. You don't play to be satisfied to be here. You play to win. And that's, you know, I think that you got to set the tone that way with what you're doing offensively and defensively.
You mentioned a few adjustments in the second half.
Oh, we got to do something to stop their quarterback. I mean, that kid's a great athlete. And he's been pretty successful against us right now.
All right, thanks, Coach. Best of luck in the second half, guys.
All right, thank you very much, Aaron. But other than Jeremiah Crawford in the big individual first half, it's been the Yeomen who have controlled things, jumping out early and answering the 2 times that Mineola scored. At the half, it's Cameron Yo leading Mineola 42-13 in the 3A Division I state championship. Of the 3A Division I state football championship, as we get ready to start the second half. Craig Way and Shea Walker with you, and we thought Cameron Yo would come in ready to attack. They have. It's been difficult for Mineola to answer.
Well, it really has, Craig, and you think just about the intensity of that Yo offensive attack. They have been just outstanding in every phase.
They started off on the ground with Trayon Smith with the first 3 touchdowns, and then to the air afterwards. If we take a look at the first half highlights after recovering the opening kickoff.
Well, it really was just a dominating first half. Trayon Smith, you see that just the power running, nice blocking at the point of attack. He's going to score his second touchdown as he barrels through again. Had 3 rushing touchdowns in the first half. As he takes another one down and gets into pay dirt. Cameron Yo being just so physical at the fourth thing. And then the throwing game has been outstanding as well. We've seen wide receivers making big plays. So Corey Smith here on a nice grab as he did a little out and up. And then late in the first half, we go back to Aaron Sims, a crossing route, breaks a tackle, walks into the end zone. And then the last play of the first half.
A Hail Mary for good measure.
The Hail Mary pass. Aaron Sims comes up huge, goes up, gets that ball.
A look at the first half statistics presented by Ford. And you look at those numbers and you say, wow, maybe this game should be closer. Look at the time of possession. Yards per play is good for Mineola. Passing yards, really, really big, Shea Walker. Only 9 for the Yellow Jackets in the first half of passing yardage. That's the biggest discrepancy there.
Well, it really is. It's just the way that the offense has been executed, Greg, and you had mentioned this several times in the first half, but Yo set to get the ball to start, and they have all the momentum on their side.
Yep, fielded by Vincent Vargas, the second half kickoff, and Vargas, a nice return, takes it out near the 45-yard line. So, Cameron Yo ready to go right back on the attack. They have not been stopped. 6 possessions, 6 touchdowns, and 4 make it 5 of the 6 scoring drives, Shea Walker, have been inside of a minute. 56 seconds, 54 seconds, 44 seconds, 50 seconds, and 20 seconds. They had one 59-yard 11-play drive, taking what seemed like an eternity, 4:41.
It's almost taking you longer to describe the scores than it does for them to actually score those touchdowns. They've just had a very productive first half, and now Trayon Smith kind of picking up where he left off.
No doubt about that. Casey Gilbert finally brought him down, but Smith, 9 yards on his first carry of the third quarter. And it might be reasonable to expect, Shea Walker, that Rick Rhodes will say, let's pound this thing now on the ground. They've done it through the air, did it on the ground early in the ball game, and then try to grind the clock and eat up yardage as well.
Well, really what this message was, and that's what he said to Aaron as he was walking into the locker room, was that we've got to do a better job of stopping them in Jeremiah Crawford. If we can do that, our offense is going to take care of itself.
And it sets up the pass outside to Sakori Smith. Smith lost the football and picked up by Noah Snead. Snead to take it in for the Yellow Jacket touchdown. 59 yards and a bit of a lift for Mineola.
Well, just when everything looks like it's going your way. Ball gets jarred loose after the catch from Aaron Sims as he's fighting for extra yardage. Ball gets stripped, and you can see Joe Drennan right there. Very happy about that. Nice job of tackling.
And then after the ball comes loose,
Juan Vargas was the guy who actually stripped the ball. And Noah Snead, as you said, picked up. What a nice job of Noah Snead returning. That ball getting into the end zone for a touchdown.
swinging gate look on the point after try to come.
Opening kickoff goes to Cameron Yo, and they score a quick touchdown. It didn't go to Cameron Yo, excuse me. They recovered the kick deep in Yellow Jacket territory and score an easy touchdown. Now the first possession for Cameron Yo, Mineola returns the favor to start the second half.
Officially a 61-yard return for the score off the fumble. And a bit of a lift for the Yellow Jackets. So that makes it a 42-20 ball game. Less than a minute gone by, third quarter.
And that is how the Yellow Jackets are going to have to get back in this game, Craig. They're going to have big plays. They're going to have momentum-changing plays. And this is one, Noah Snead, as he picks up the fumble that was jarred loose by Juan Vargas, who had 4 forced fumbles coming into today's game. Vargas gets that strip for his 5th of the season. That's outstanding for the senior linebacker.
So the touchdown gets Mineola a little bit closer, and Joe Drennan, I'm sure, told his guys the half, you got 24 minutes of football to play. Nobody else in Texas in your classifications playing. Why not go out and make the most of it?
Might as well be us. And it's just an outstanding start, and it's exactly what Mineola needed.
First time tonight the Cameron Yo offense did not go down the field and score a touchdown. First time tonight. Now Mineola to kick it off again. And an onside kick, fielded and smartly played by Jalen Bryant. Scoops it up, steps out of bounds. Yo will have excellent field position. Tried to cross him up here with the onside kick. Shea just didn't get the hop they wanted. Perfect hop. It's like a shortstop fielding a two-hop grounder.
Well, and he fielded it beautifully, as you said, and just walks out of bounds with it, and going to get the line of scrimmage right at the 49-yard line.
Cameron Yo with excellent field position, and the Yeomen go right back to work. And that means Trayon Smith. Once more, the jacket defense ready. Michael Drennan.
Trayon Smith runs right into the freshman linebacker. 6 foot, 190 pounds.
And the son of the head coach.
Yep. You got to figure, you know, he's going to be where he's supposed to be. Read his keys beautifully. He got up and he was able to stop Trayon Smith for maybe a 1-yard gain at the most.
Second down and 9. Dickerson now to Sims, trying to break it outside, and does turn the corner nicely. Picked up good yardage when it looked like he might initially be trapped. Turned that into a 4-yard gain.
Well, a couple of Yellow Jackets had a shot at Aaron Sims, but he is so elusive and quick. 5'5", 135 pounds. Take a look. You're going to see one defender right there. Linebacker coming in from the middle, and still Aaron Sims is able to bounce it outside to his left. Pickups about 4 yards on that play.
So it's 3rd and 5 for the Yeomen at the 47 of Mineola. Dickerson off 2 fakes to go deep. Looking there, and guess who? Aaron Sims.
What a night.
Yeoman touchdown.
What a night for Aaron Sims. 78 catches, 1,240 yards coming into today's game. And we have seen him go in between double coverage, and now there's going to be 3 defenders. Down, and Aaron Sims with that speed gets behind the safety. A couple of orange jerseys around it. He just outruns them all, and the ball beautifully thrown by Reed Nickerson.
How about these numbers for Aaron Sims, Shea Walker? 7 catches, 159 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Extra point good. And now it's Yo striking right back. One thing Cameron Yo has done is every time Mineola has scored, Yo has come right back with a touchdown. They do so again. Nickerson to Sims. And now a special message from Dairy Queen. 49-20. Cameron Yo with the lead. Mineola already 2 touchdowns, 1 for each side here early in the 3rd quarter. Hey, tonight coming up on Fox Sports Live is Rajon Rondo headed to the Western Conference? Yes, he is now a Dallas Maverick. And the latest on his future. Also an update from DeMarco Murray on his status for Sunday against the Colts. Donovan McNabb will break down the race to the #1 pick, Titans, Jaguars. That's tonight. Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1. Another one of those quick Cameron Yo touchdowns. And here's Hampton. This time the Yeomen ready to beat him downfield. The ball picked up loose and scooped up by Darryl Flores. And Yo gets it right back.
But it's kind of when it rains, it pours right now for the Yellow Jackets.
Just difficult for Hampton as he brought it back, had the ball ripped right from his grasp, Shea. Right there.
Johnny Alexander has been Johnny on the spot, as you said earlier in the kicking game. It's the young man who recovered that first kick of the game. Gets the strip right there, and Darryl Flores, the sophomore, comes up with a recovery.
Cameron Yo with the football again. This time at the Mineola 19. Trayon Smith. Smith surging into the end zone. 19-yard run, 4th touchdown of the ball game for Treon Smith.
Now running down the left side, Riley Anderson, Matt Smith doing a good job sealing off walls. Getting some good blocking there and arm tackles. Not going to work. Treon Smith too strong, too powerful. At his 4th touchdown of the night.
3 in the first half, the first 3 scores. And Cameron Yoe was doing it from the air. Back to the ground. Smith across, and a 56-20 lead for the Yeomen. You see what Treon Smith has done to this point. Nearing 100 yards rushing. This might seem like a familiar story to folks when you think about Cameron Yoe. We mentioned they beat Dangerfield in 2012, but then last year they were back to defend their state crown right here at AT&T Stadium against the Wall Hawks from the Concho Valley. And Wall was in this ball game for a lot of it. Brett Maciek on the toss and took it in. That triple option attack gave Cameron Yoe trouble for a time, but Jason Capriva to Aaron Sims, that 6-yard touchdown pass. And guess who? Treon Smith, who had 4 touchdowns. 2 of them in the final quarter. Cameron Yoe pulled away to win 35-14 to make it back-to-back state titles for Rick Rhodes. And you look at those consecutive state titles since 1990, that is when we had the initial split division, starting with 5A Division I and Division II in 1990. So if you start from that moment forward, Lake Travis, of course, top of the list with the 5 in a row, the drive for 5, but now Cameron Yoe trying to make it 3 straight. And here's a big breakthrough for Hampton. Hampton down the sidelines, cutting it across midfield. And Hampton ran a long way on this return and takes it all the way down to a 16-yard line.
Well, finally brought down by Aaron Sims, but not after. He gets it all the way down to the 11-yard line of Cameron Yoe. So we're talking about big play after big play by both of these teams. And we've yet to see Jeremiah Crawford.
75-yard return, and boy, what a cut right there. So now we'll see Crawford. And the Yellow Jacket attack. Chance Perkins trying to gain the corner, and John Washington there to hold him just to a 1-yard gain.
That was beautifully played there by John Washington. We talked about his prowess in the kicking game and what he's meant special teams wise. We've even seen him on a couple of offensive plays, but he comes into today's game with 104 tackles and did a really nice job right there of setting the edge and making sure that Chance Perkins had nowhere to go with the ball. The inside pressure was forcing him out right into John Washington's hands and knocks him out of bounds for about a 1, maybe, yeah, probably give him a yard on that carry.
2nd down at 9, the 15. Crawford now looking to throw to the end zone, incomplete. Also falling down in the end zone was Michael Drennan. He was trying to break toward the pylon, and in between was Cortland Cinches, and neither could come up with the football.
Well, this Yoe defense getting good pressure upfield and forcing Jeremiah Crawford to break out of the pocket a little bit earlier than he wants to. Downfield coverage is pretty solid by Yoe, and it just gives you a lot of confidence if you're that front 4, front 7. You can actually pin your ears back just a little bit and put more pressure on the quarterback.
3rd and 9. Trouble now for Crawford. And yes, the Cameron Yoe defense did look as though it pinned back its collective ears. Danny Flores dropping him for a loss of 3. So 4th down for Mineola. No reason not to go for it. Might as well. Trouble right from the outset for Crawford.
And that really is, too, Craig, very disciplined defense. It's guys staying at home. And guys staying in their lanes and not allowing the very athletic quarterback to break containment.
So it's 4th down and 12. for the Yellow Jackets. And Crawford trying to gain his teammates' attention, and finally a timeout is spent. He's pretty upset, a little frustrated. Three receivers went out. Yellow Jackets spend their first time out of this third quarter, and Joe Drennan tries to make sure they stay calm and organized on the sidelines before going out before this fourth down play coming up.
Well, the last time he did that, he allowed Jeremiah Crawford to catch his breath, and he ran around the right side for a touchdown. Hoping to see a repeat of that right now, but it is 4th and 12.
Second game of the day today was the 2A Division I championship between Mason and Canadian. And the Canadian Wildcats had that high-powered offense. And early on, their defense stood out. Great McGalla picked off the pass thrown by Miguel Castillo. Chance Cook crashing through the puncher defense for a touchdown. And around the horn, Canadian spotted Mason an early lead. They were down 7-0, and they bounced back to win it by a score of 34-7. There, as you see our view of the field from here, and you see this towel right here. I'll tell you about it more after this play here on fourth down. The catch made, and a nice grab by Brent Wells. It'll be 1st and goal after that 15-yard catch on fourth down and 12, Shay.
Nice job by Jeremiah Crawford getting the ball out. Good protection for him up front. And that was an outstanding grab by Brent Wells. Take another look at it. See, on the run, locates his wide receiver, and you can see stretch those hands out. He's got a defender draped all over him, and Wells on fourth down comes up with a big grab. 1st and goal now from the 3-yard line.
So Mineola had 2 touchdowns in the entire first half, looking for 2 in the first half of the third quarter, but a false start will cost them 5 yards. So it'll be
number 56 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
We were telling you about Canadian winning the state championship. This is how big high school football in Texas is. Shay Walker will show this to those who are viewing. This towel is from K101, one of the 2 radio stations broadcasting Canadians' game. The only difference with this radio station is based in Woodward, Oklahoma, 85 miles away, with a signal that reaches Canadians. So in Oklahoma, they're caring about Texas high school football.
That's pretty impressive.
Back to the ground.
Breadth and the reach of Texas football. Oh, that
Perkins trying to
defense
turn the corner, yeah.
doing a great job. Great job of running down Chance Perkins.
So it's 2nd and goal. After that false start call, moved it back to the 8. A 1-yard gain to the 7 by Perkins, and it's 2nd down and goal. Crawford has Chance Perkins in the backfield with him. And he looks to throw. There to make the catch is Michael Drennan. A freshman into the end zone for the Mineola touchdown.
I like the way Michael Drennan stretches those hands out, away from the body, snags the ball. Just take another look. He's coming out from the inside. Couple of receivers there, and Aaron Trevor was right behind Michael Drennan, but Michael Drennan said, hey, I'll do it. Nice job catching the ball behind his body, away from his body, and pulling it in for the touchdown.
For the conversion. The kick is good from Willie Chinahero, and it's now a 56-27 ball game. So Mineola strikes back with another touchdown. Cameron Yo is still in control of this one.
Only one.
56-27. Cameron Yo on top. And a nice memory there for the freshman, Michael Drennan, catching a touchdown pass in a state championship game.
Yeah, he's got 7 catches and 4 touchdowns coming into the game, and a couple of catches already today, but that touchdown grab right there. Something to build on, certainly for Michael Drennan, only a freshman.
So Mineola to kick it off. Already here in the third quarter, each team has scored 2 touchdowns. kickoff. Once more fielded by Vincent Vargas, who takes it down. Well, Cameron Yo has come at Mineola in a variety of ways, and none of these three guys really has been stopped tonight, Che.
Well, I really haven't. It just was an outstanding night. Reed Nickerson, the trigger man. You see the 240 yards. Also, the rushing yards for him are pretty dominating as well. Trayon Smith, kind of what you expected from Trayon Smith. 4-touchdown performance, and those catches and touchdowns by Aaron Sims, that one right before the half, was just magical.
And 7 of the 8 Cameron Yo touchdown drives have taken less than 60 seconds. Smith, and ready for him. The jacket defense, Dylan Hargrove, dropping Trayon Smith for a loss of a yard.
And that mess took just a little bit too long. See Reed Nickerson holding the ball in the belly of Trayon Smith. Did not get the commitment from the defense that he wanted, and he just took a little bit too long leaving again there. And Dylan Hargrove comes up and makes a nice play for Mineola.
And not that we're surprised by this one bit, but nice to see Mineola still playing very, very hard here midway through the third quarter. Though they're considerably behind. Here's Nickerson. Looking to run or throw, and throws at the last minute, broken up. Good coverage on the sideline there by Dalton Harris, the intended target, Vincent Vargas.
Yeah, Dalton Harris, what a story. 5'8", 150-pound freshman. He's played in all 15 games for the Yellow Jackets, Greg, coming into today, and made a really nice play right there on the sideline defending the pass.
3rd down and 11 for the Yeomen. Remember, Mineola does have one stop. That was the turnover. It was turned into the first touchdown of the second half. Nickerson over the middle, and the catch made by Sakori Smith. And a first down to the 45. Well, that slammed right across the middle for 17 yards.
The Cameron Yo offensive line doing a really nice job of securing a very nice pocket where Reed Nickerson can just sit back comfortably, locate his wide receivers, finding Sakori Smith on that particular play across the middle. Almost an easy pitch and catch right there.
From the 46 of the Yellow Jackets. Back to the ground, back to Trayon Smith. He dances his way from a couple of would-be tacklers. Trevor Keener and Michael Drennan team up on the stop. A gain of 4. And Smith very close to 100 rushing yards at a total of 99 on 16 carries. Second down and 6. Now from the 42 of the Yellow Jackets. Movement. Pass. Caught. And a first down. Sakori Smith. Boy, Reed Nickerson has used his 2 main targets, Aaron Sims and Sakori Smith, with equal effectiveness tonight.
Well, he really has, and both guys very athletic and dynamic receivers.
52 on the defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
The yardage of the play was 10 yards, so penalty declined. The Yeomen on the march again. We do know this. The scoring drive, if Cameron Yo takes it in for points, will not be less than a minute. They've had one of those so far tonight, the direct snap to Smith. Here's Trayon Smith.
Well, that play is just so effective because you're not expecting Trayon Smith to take that direct snap. Everybody's reading Reed Nickerson and looking at him, and that half count pause to realize that it goes directly to Trayon Smith is what allows him to bust that forward and pick up positive yards. Another first down for the Yeomen.
So it's down to the 20-yard line here. 1st and 10 for Cameron Yo. Nickerson, the back of the end zone, caught by Sakori Smith. He said he had it, but the official said he was going out of the end zone at the time.
Well, that's a nice burst there by Sakori Smith at the very end of the play. To take another look at it. Great job of working the camera angle, and
And a good call.
Yeah.
He couldn't get it in, the foot down in time. Right. It's close.
It's close.
Yeah.
It's close. It's close. But hey, that call on the field stands.
Call will stand. There's no replay. And here's Smith. He stumbles forward. Gain of a couple. Well, as we mentioned, if Cameron Yo does score on this drive, it will be in excess of a minute. It would be only the second drive. Look at that. 17 seconds, 44, and then after that oddity of 4 minutes and 41 seconds, 44, 50, 27, 59, and yes, 5 plays to score.
Well, and here's the thing, Craig. I mean, several of those drives, those aren't like short fields. They did have a short field on a couple of them, but most of those drives, the vast majority of them, were long drives.
Again, the direct snap to Smith, and he bounces forward down to the 10-yard line, and he's got enough for the first down. Trevor Keener on the tackle, but it'll be 1st and goal for the Yeomen. And this goes back to what we were saying at the start of the second half, Shay. Probably what Rick Rhodes has wanted to see. We'll ground and pound now. Keep the clock moving. Keep the chains moving. Add some points. And end this thing.
When you have the battering ram of a back like Treon Smith, that's exactly what you want to do.
And the zone read handoff to Smith. Nickerson, I think for Mo was going to pull it out. He's still talking with Smith about it.
They're looking at each other like, wait a minute. I have it, you have it. No, you have it, I have it. That's where that mesh. You got to be a little bit more decisive.
And for all of that, they still picked up a yard. So it's 2nd and goal at the 9. Smith up to 122 rushing yards now. And the 4 touchdowns. Nickerson will keep this time. And Nickerson will bounce forward just shy of the goal line. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Well, he took a big shot there from Trevor Keener as he was trying to navigate his way into the end zone. Take a look right at the end of the run. Spins around, and right there he takes a big shot. That's Keener coming down off that defensive line spot.
3rd down and goal, and Nickerson has done a masterful job running the attack for Yo tonight. On 3rd and goal, direct snap, Treon Smith, touchdown number 5. Lose a shoe, score a touchdown. Treon Smith with 5 touchdowns rushing tonight.
The offensive front, Craig, has just been dominating for the Yeomen. Pablo Rodriguez, when you see offensive linemen getting their body in the end zone when you're on that short goal or short yardage, and right now we have an injured player.
It's Pablo Rodriguez who is banged up on the touchdown. And if we get another look at it, you'll see where he got hurt, and you'll see him actually pound the turf with his fist as he might have had the ankle roll. Here's another look, Shay. Now watch Rodriguez, number 74.
He's right here on your screen.
Got turned around there. Now watch what he does at the end of the play. You'll see him here, and he pounds his fist. We'll get another look at it. Goes down, and that's where it turned underneath on him. And as he hit the turf, he pounded it with his fist, knowing something wasn't right. The extra point is good. And the 9th Cameron Yo touchdown makes it a 63-27 ball game. Hopefully, Pablo Rodriguez isn't seriously injured. Looks like he's enjoying the touchdown regardless of the situation, and Treon Smith certainly enjoying his night with 5 touchdowns. He's enjoying the night of a lifetime. Well, how about the chance of a lifetime? You know, yesterday and tomorrow sit side by side. The Daytona 500 is this February 22nd. Tickets are on sale now at Daytona500.com. And those cars move almost as fast as that camera right there. Nice job by this whole crew.
He can make a right turn. Those cars can't make a right turn.
Now. You're on the road course. You have the right turns and the left turns. You know, You have both.
Is that the open road? Is that you're talking about the open wheel?
No. NASCAR
Open
has road courses too.
Oh yeah.
Watkins Glen, and Sonoma, California. Those are a couple of the road courses.
I'm gonna take your word for it there.
Okay.
I'm more familiar with the left turn.
I understand. That's the motorhead in me coming out there. All right. 63-27.
The junior circuit.
Here's the kickoff. And this time the kick a little shorter, and Noah Sneed on the return. So once more, Mineola, which has had offensive success here in this third quarter, Shea. The problem is just they haven't been able to stop Cameron Yo. Yo has outscored the Yellow Jackets, as we know, all night long. But in the third quarter, it's been much more respectable. A 21-14 third quarter count.
Well, and Mineola creating a turnover on that very first series of the second half to score their touchdown. So again, they have to have plays like that to climb back into this game right now. Cameron Yo in complete control.
Crawford will just fling it downfield, and that's intercepted. Picked off by John Washington.
His second of the night.
Washington with a couple of picks, and the ball will go back to the Yeoman at the 45.
Yeah, and a very difficult throw for Jeremiah Crawford. He's got a defender bearing down on him right in his face, and he's trying to make a play. Take another look. Here's the pressure coming upfield. He just flings the ball down, trying to get it to where he knows he might have a receiver. But the pressure up front, it's Eddie Luna getting right in the face of Crawford, and John Washer steps in front for the interception.
So the Yeomen have the ball again. Trayon Smith back on the field. Reed Nickerson. And off to Smith. Bounces forward for a gain of a yard. Trayon Smith has done as fine a job tonight on those short gains, turning them into positive gains as he has on the bigger gains for touchdowns.
He really has. He's just been a dominating force, running the ball through the interior, bouncing off of would-be tacklers, breaking tackles, running over the top of defenders. 5 touchdowns on the night. Another thing about Trayon Smith, Craig, just kind of looking back through this year, he has over 2,300 yards coming into the game. He's only lost 2 fumbles all year. I mean, you talk about a guy securing the ball, running the ball extremely effectively. You know he's a marked man. You know teams are geared up and lined up and trying to stop him. And I just find that pretty impressive that
Absolutely.
Only 2 lost fumbles on the year.
Now on the speed sweep, coming back the other way is Sims. And he'll have a first down. Picks up 14 yards. So Aaron Sims, who's been catching the football in spectacular fashion. It's a very effective run and a first down for the Yeomen.
Man, not a big guy. We're talking about 5'5", 135 pounds. The last time I saw a guy, a wide receiver that athletic at that size, Gerald McNeil.
There you go. Just saw Gerald the other day. Sit with him. First down at 10. Pass to the right. Caught. And a hit immediately on Vargas after the catch by Surtees. A little bit of movement in the line, but the result of the play was 7 yards, so no need to worry about an offsides call. And we come to the end of the third quarter. Cameron Yo, 12 minutes away from a third consecutive state football championship. Into the third quarter from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, the 3A Division I state championship game. There's Cameron Yo on top of Mineola.
State Farm.
Football National state high school championships over the 72-hour period. False start call, one of the rare mistakes that Cameron Yo has made tonight. And a 5-yard false start call will move the ball back. So 2nd and 3 becomes 2nd down and 8 from the 38. Nickerson with some time to go to the air and locating Vargas. Reed Nickerson continues to throw the ball with great effectiveness. 15 yards on that pass. Nickerson now 14 of 20 for 287 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Well, he's got guys running really good routes and very sure-handed receivers, and Nickerson has been pinpoint accurate all game, Craig. We've seen him on the long, deep balls. He's hit his wide receivers in stride, throws the ball only where his wide receivers have an opportunity to go out and make that grab, and he just had a very effective.
And here he goes on the run. Brought down for no gain by Michael Drennan. Nickerson, by the way, going into that carry at 4 carries for 64 yards as well. So it's averaging 16 yards per carry prior to being stopped for no gain there. So he's handled a little bit of everything tonight. Put the ball in the hands of Trayon Smith for the 5 rushing touchdowns. And of course, the passing touchdowns to Sims, 3 of those, 1 to Smith. The trigger man for the Yeoman, no doubt. And over the middle and caught. And into the end zone. A touchdown to the sophomore receiver, Jordan Wells.
Well, Jordan Wells, no stranger to making grabs. 30 catches on the year, a couple of touchdowns. Nice job coming out of that inside receiver spot. You're going to see him flash across the middle there. Another beautifully timed throw by Reed Nickerson, puts it right where Jordan Wells needs it to be. He makes the catch and then breaks the tackle, gets into the end zone for the score.
How about Reed Nickerson tonight, Shay? 15 of 21 for 310 yards and 5 touchdowns. Extra point kick good. It's the highest point total this season for the Yeoman. 70.
Well, he's just been so impressive, Craig, in where he's locating and finding his receivers. And another reason why he's doing that, or he's able to do that, that offensive front for Cameron Yo is doing an outstanding job of giving him time to locate those receivers.
This is the 4th and final game of this quadruple header on day 1 of the UIL State High School Football Championships. There'll be 3 games tomorrow, including the 2 teams that went head-to-head 2 years ago. Navasota and Gilmer for the 3A Division II crown. Kadarius Baker rewriting the record books in the 2012 season. But Austin Collins, his speedy receiver, stealing the show, flying past the Buckeye defense for 6. Start of a huge day for Collins. Also, Baker with a terrific catch on the turf, and when he had the Cleveland injury, Collins took over at quarterback, had an 81-yard keeper for a touchdown. They went on to the win. The nice thing that you say about Navasota and Gilmer, they're in different divisions going for state titles, but Argyle may have something to say about it as Navasota looks for a 2nd title in the past 3 years. Argyle has a 31-game winning streak, and they won the 3A Division II crown a year ago. And West Orange Star, with that truckload of defensive talent, going to try to stop that Gilmer offense that's averaging 61 points per game in the postseason.
That's iron sharpening iron right there. You want to see if the offense is going to be as good as advertised, and can that defense led by Deontay Thompson slow down the offense? It's going to be that's going to be a headbanger.
Can't wait for that one. Tomorrow at noon is the first game. Gilmer, West Orange Star, the 4A Division II title, then the 4A Division I crown between Navasota and Argyle. And we haven't even gotten to the 5A Division II championship. We'll have to talk a little bit more about that. Ennis and Cedar Park, which I firmly believe going into this week, I said, stands a chance to be as good a game as any for the entire weekend.
Now, the way it sets up and you look at the talent on both sides of the ball for those 2 teams, very impressive.
Crawford And speaking of impressive, Crawford continues to run the ball well. 5-yard gain. Jeremiah Crawford, Johnny Alexander the tackle. Rick Rhodes certainly wants to see his guys be able to slow down Mineola. You know, he said they got to tackle better. Mineola has gotten its share of points here in the second half, but Yo keeps piling them on, and that'll work for Coach Rhodes.
Just a dominating performance by Reed Nickerson, and just having a fantastic night distributing the ball to his playmakers.
This time, Chance Perkins cutting inside. Nice bit of running there by Perkins, and he'll have a first down. Across the 40, up to the 44-yard line, an 11-yard carry. DeAndre Adams, the tackle for the Yeomen.
A lot of young guys on this offense for Mineola. Jeremiah Crawford, a sophomore. Chance Perkins, a sophomore. Michael Drennan, a freshman.
Yeah, and Ryan Cullen down on the field right now. Certainly hope that he's all right. The senior weak side linebacker.
He's a
Cameron Yo.
Leader in tacklers for this Yo defense, and I hope he's all right.
This is a TV timeout, and it's extended.
9:48 to play in the football game here, and it's Cameron Yo leading Mineola.
Think of Gold Bond Men's Lotion as honey. And here come the bees. Bzzz. Bzz.
Gold Bond Men's Lotion. Skin strengthening proteins plus.
The Yeomen enjoying the moment here as they draw closer to being a part of a third consecutive state championship. Third down. A few yards sporting through and a first down for Chance Perkins. DeAndre Adams on the tackle. As we mentioned, a triple header tomorrow. 4A Division II state championship game at noon. The first matchup, West Orange Stark against Gilmer. 4A Division I title matchup. Number 1 Navasota, number 2 Argyle. Argyle, a state champ of a year ago with a 31-game winning streak. That's at 4 o'clock. Hand off here to Perkins. He'll slide down. There's no gain on the play. And then, of course, 5A Division II state championship. We told you about Cedar Park, the Timberwolves, and Thomas Hutchings. Hey, Jack Alvarez has the Ennis Lions turned around after they had a sluggish start. And here's Ennis with those two outstanding Thompsons in the backfield and at the wide receiver tomorrow night.
Well, that game, Craig, and we've been talking about it, and probably just looking at it, two teams, the two coaches, the talent on both sides of the ball for both teams. I mean, it's just, it's impressive. And both teams so well coached.
That'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, the third and final game of the triple header. Crawford back on the field, and a man wide open. Unable to hold it, however, is Brent Wells sliding down. Jeremiah Crawford is back on the field. Had Wells open, but they could not connect. Had it for a moment. Unable to hold on.
The defender had fallen down and just a little bit underthrown, and Jeremiah Crawford, that left ankle hurting, bandaged up, tape on the outside so he can stay in this game, but not able to step really and get all of the push that he needs and land on that front foot.
You're going to run on it on third down, stepping out of one tackler and still moving the pile forward is Crawford, and enough yardage to pick up a first down.
I was going to say he was running gingerly, but he gingerly picks up a first down and carried 3 defenders with him. Gets up slow again, though. You see as he's talking to Coach Drennan on the sideline.
Crawford hopping back up, and now up to 156 yards for the sophomore quarterback. And a big hole there for Chance Perkins. Perkins, one final big moment for the Mineola Yellow Jackets. The sophomore running back takes it 47 yards for the touchdown.
Nice job right there by Chance Perkins. Patiently sets the play up, gets a couple of key blocks, sees the green turf in front, turns on the Jets, and outruns two defenders into the end zone.
Mineola will come up short tonight, but still a lot of reasons to smile for the future that we talked about. That young man is one of them.
Over 2,000 yards rushing on the season.
Great job from the sophomore, Chance Perkins. Perkins tonight at 112 rushing yards because of that run. So Mineola with two backs above 100, including the quarterback Crawford at 156. Here's Crawford.
Half the distance to the goal. Still a 1-time down.
Crawford, by the way, officially at 1,893 yards for the season. So Joe Drennan close to having two guys over 2,000 rushing yards apiece. 70-34 the score there. Go back to the end of the first half for our DQ big play of the game. The final play of the first half.
Well, keep it on the mind. This is on the heels of Rick Rhodes using his timeouts, forcing what was effectively a punt by Mineola, which was the interception. But then they come right back in just a couple of plays. They take a shot down deep. And Reed Nickerson finds Aaron Sims in for the touchdown on the last play of the first half, and really a backbreaker. And then with Cameron Yo getting the ball to start the second half, even though they fumbled that possession, Mineola goes down and scores. Cameron Yo just poured it on offensively, and Reed Nickerson just had a monster night.
Plenty of reason to be proud.
You bet.
Proud of those two Andersons there. See, and yeah, it'll be disappointing for the sophomore, for Jeremiah Crawford, but what a show he put on tonight. Valiant effort even in defeat. And again, a largely very young Mineola team, and Cameron Yo with a lot of young players. Not out of the realm of possibility to consider that these two teams could work their way back for a rematch next year.
Well, they might as well, because Katy and Cedar Hill keep doing it.
3 in a row it'll be for the now 6A Division II title. Kickoff. And Vargas is fielding a lot of kickoffs tonight. We'll put down the football there, and Cameron Yo will put down the knee one time and then celebrate another state title. Chance to celebrate on that 2-hour or so, a little over a couple hours bus ride back down to Milam County tonight. One final snap. For the Yeomen. Mineola comes up with it. Grayson Tinner recovers it. Mineola says, hey, we'll give another shot. See if we can get one more touchdown. Make it a little bit closer here.
Yeah, you see Coach Rhodes kind of turning his head on that one just a little bit. Nice hustle there. Dalton Harris, freshman. You talk about that youth for the Yellow Jackets. It's a guy who's now played in 16 games as a freshman. Impressive.
Crawford will hand it to Perkins again. And here's Perkins. Perkins one more time will take it down inside the 10. And Mineola seeing the clock stop with 19 seconds to go in the ball game. The Yellow Jackets have a couple of timeouts if they want to try to use one to see if they can set up a play to try to get it in, but do not elect to use one, and the clock is running Jackets have one more snap in them here with 10 seconds left. Again to Perkins. Chance Perkins one more time to the end zone. The final play of the game. Chance Perkins takes it across for the score.
Well, Rick Rhodes gets the ice bath as Chance Perkins goes across the end zone. As you said, no time left on the clock. Extra point attempt will be allowed, obviously.
Here's that ice bucket bath. And Reed Nickerson with a hug for the head coach. Extra